Hey, Jake Kick here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.
Y'all ready for this?
Welcome back to 30 Teams in 30 Days. For day 13, we're going to be traveling down to Florida and talking about the Miami Marlins. This team is young, and this team is so good, in my opinion. In 2025, they went 79-83. This is a young group who produced their 10th best record overall and their best record since 2016. They're still seeking their 5th overall playoff appearance since their inception in 1994. And I don't mean to keep hyping them up because, they finished not the greatest, under 500, but I think they're so good. The young core did lead them in most everything, led by Xavier Edwards, an absolute speedster, but he led in hits, runs, triples, stolen bases, and walks, so he shows patience at the plate. Then moving next to him on the diamond, we have Otto Lopez, who led the team in RBIs, but also led the team in errors, so that's not great. Moving to the outfield, Kyle Stowers did not meet the 502 plate appearances, but still led the team in home runs and all the ratios, and also strikeouts. But again, he led the team in batting average as well with 288. Now again, he didn't hit the 502, but again, we're going to give him credit. Moving behind the plate, Agustin Ramirez, one of my favorite young players, led the team in total bases and doubles. Again, he's a catcher, just like Ryan Jeffers, leading the team in doubles. That's pretty good. Now, all these guys are 28 and under, and the rest of the guys we're going to talk about, including these little more tidbits of information, are all going to be under 28. This is phenomenal. This is what I'm talking about, being so young and being so good. These guys are producing almost at the 500 level. You get a little better pitching. That's not exactly going to be the case next year, just FYI. But you get a little more stability there. Ooh, watch out for these guys. Now, despite these guys being so young and me talking them up so much, there are a few drawbacks from Xavier Edwards did double his games from 24 to 25, but also then did drop below 300 batting average. Last year, he was 328. This year, he was 283. Still good, but again, doubled the games, under 300. Then he also did not steal as many bases. In 2024, he stole 31 bases, and then 2025 doubled his games and only stole 27. Yikes, is there something we don't know about? Again, moving just right across from him on the diamond, Otto Lopez exchanged power for average. He smacked 15 home runs, which was a career high for him, but then did drop 25 points on his batting average. In his home runs, he did double his RBI, so that's good. But then in the field, he did make 10 errors between second and shortstop. That's not exactly the category you want to lead in, but gotta take the good or the bad, right? We're going to move on to Kyle Stowers. 117 games, smacked 25 home runs. Definitely on pace to produce big time for this team. But of course, he had the injury bug get him. He did have to take a back seat with load management, but he is hopeful to be back, not necessarily full strength to start the season, but he will absolutely be mending that. Maybe that oblique and the back will cooperate this year, and we won't see many, if any, time on the IL. Agustin Ramirez, one of my favorite young backstops. He burst onto the scene his first full year, 21 home runs, 67 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases. He was only caught 3 times. This man can move, so he's going to need to be a big bat in that offense. However, while his framing is good, his blocking needs to improve, and his caught stealing numbers, they're not sexy. In fact, he has a 1.99 pop time, which is not good, not elite, and not what you want to see behind the plate. It's not the worst. We've seen worse. We've seen over 2, but you don't want to be near 2 at all. So, Agustin Ramirez, work on that, buddy. There are 3 more young guys who I think are going to be phenomenal if they can stay healthy. That's a big thing. The more time they're on the field, the better. First guy we're talking about, Jacob Marcy. Only 55 games last year, but did walk 22 times and stole 14 bases. He is going to be a center fielder who can cover all gaps. And then talking about defense, we have to go to third base. Talk about my ECU man, Connor Norby. Now, did not have the season he expected last year because he talked about having a 30 home run season, which is what he did at East Carolina. My man was putting the ball over the fence. Now, injuries did prevent him from doing what he needed to do, but did still play in 88 games and hit 8 home runs. So that's not a bad clip, 1 home run every 10 games, but that's not going to get you to 30, unfortunately. He is going to have to work back to get his position back from Graham Pauley. Right now, Graham Pauley is a little banged up. So right now, it's Connor Norby's to win back for sure and to lose if he does not perform well. Final guy is Griffin Conine. This guy was leading the team in batting average and several other categories in his very short time on the field, but then he got hurt being aggressive going into second base. his numbers just through a few short games let us know that he did have the pedigree. Obviously, his dad, Jeff Conine, did play, but he is going to be able to knock this ball out of the park. Not necessarily with the home runs, but he's going to be able to play at a very high level with the rest of this core. And these numbers over 24 games did include 25 strikeouts. Like, whoa, that's not great, but hold on, there's more. 7 doubles, 8 RBIs, and 7 walks. I think he did smack a home run as well. So he was producing. Take the number of games and divide it by 3, and that's what you're producing at rates to get in scoring position and to get on base in general with the walks. Then you're putting people in scoring position with your hits, putting them across the plate. Dude, Griffin Conine is an absolute mainstay and cornerstone in this offense. Mark my words. Tell me if you've heard this before. Another young guy in this offense, I know this will be the last time I say it, is Owen Casey, and he's the newest Marlin, traded over from the Cubs in the Edward Cabrera trade. He is absolutely going to be trying to hit the ground running. Last year, in a very small sample size, showed speed, showed good pop, and showed patience at the plate. However, the strikes are going to have to come down. He will be fighting for a spot in the starting rotation for the outfield because he may not be the guy out there, but again, with some injuries, with some people who are going to be platooning, lefties, righties, he could absolutely make a name for himself and absolutely have more of a chance to do so than in that crowded Cubs offense, mainly in the outfield because they had some good guys, right? Then we get to the rotation. This rotation was super frustrating because there were so many good points, but it just seemed to never work well. Everything seemed to unravel at the worst times. And we're going to go over these guys and talk about how there were positives and then where the negatives came in and just reared its ugly head. We're going to go ahead and start with the guy that seems like he's been in this rotation since the inception in the early 90s, Sandy Alcantara, the day one starter for several years now. Did see a great season a few years ago, and then just everything has fallen apart for him. So in 2025, 174 innings pitched, 31 starts, 12 quality starts, 1.27 whip. Sounds like he's got some good stuff going. Well, he had a 5.3 ERA, gave up 104 earned runs, then gave up 57 walks in those same 174 innings. So found ways to screw it up. Next is Edward Cabrera, no longer with the team, but was part of the success that they had last year. He had a 3.5 ERA, did pitch 137 innings, and had 150 strikeouts. Where does he go wrong? He had 48 walks and only averaged 86 pitches per outing. So he was not going deep into games. He was using a lot of his pitches on those walks. The youngest and probably most promising guy in the rotation, Yuri Perez, 105 whip. Oh, baby. 105 Ks and only 95 innings. Oh, what is this? 4.25 ERA, and he only had 1 quality start. My favorite pitcher in this rotation, Jansen Junk in the Trunk. Only went 110 innings pitched, but had a 1.14 whip. Only gave up 8 home runs. Only had 13 walks. Whoa, where does it go bad? He had a 4.17 ERA and only had 77 strikeouts in those 110 innings. One of my favorite pitchers to the newest Yankee, Ryan Weathers. He just can't stay healthy, which, of course, not good for the Yankees rotation. But he also cannot seem to get out of his way of his catchers. So hopefully he builds a better connection with Austin Wells. And I think it was Liam Hicks threw down and clocked him in the side of the head. He had to leave after 3 innings. He was doing pretty well. Actually, no, he wasn't doing well. That was not a good game for him. So maybe it was better he left. But yeah, man, just cannot stay healthy. So hopefully he changes that with the Yankees. I doubt it, though. Final guy in this rotation, Max Meyer. He did see one more start in 2025, but he saw the same wins, same losses, and same whip. Did improve his innings pitched, did improve his Ks, and also did improve his ERA. But then he had season-ending hip surgery. Golly. Probably going to slot into the very back end of that rotation this upcoming year, but holy cow. This is the second guy we've had in the last 2 weeks to have hip surgery to end the season. Sean Murphy last week, and now Max Meyer. As we move on to the bullpen, the setup men were the best part of this whole entire pitching brigade. The starting pitchers, they had their flaws. The setup men were pretty solid, and the closers, well, they just weren't good. There were 9 guys who picked up saves for the Marlins. There were 12 guys who picked up holds for the Marlins, but they ended up having 22 blown saves. That was number 1 in the league, or at least tied for number 1 in the league. Again, when I tell you the transition piece, the setup men, they were the best. Ronnie Henriquez, Anthony Bender, and Tyler Phillips Those are the three best guys. I don't know why they didn't move them to the closer role, or at least give them more prominent positions. And when I say they should have been used more, I mean, while they did have 50-plus appearances, when you have so many guys getting saves and so many guys getting holds, you are trying to use situational pitching, which works sometimes, but when you're the Marlins and you have to focus on winning games, winning close games, and not screwing it up, stop trying to go to the same problem and get the issue fixed. Let me backtrack real quick and give even more information about why these guys were so good. Again, all of them had 50-plus appearances. Got that. Now, Ronnie Henriquez was the best of them all. He did have saves, he did have holds, but he had 98 strikeouts in 73 innings. Then we get to Anthony Bender. He only gave up 3 home runs the entire season. And then Tyler Phillips, he did give up 8 home runs, but again, over 50-plus appearances. Again, it is what it is, man. In case you need more information, all of them have between a 2.16 and a 2.78 ERA, and all of them have below a 1.15 whip. And you might ask, what were the numbers for the actual closer? Calvin Foucher, however you say his name? Well, he had a 3.28 ERA with a 1.28 whip. We're going to hit on their new closer as we get to the additions and departures. However, Pete Fairbanks is not a guy I've ever been super confident in. Always been kind of erratic. Has some shutdown stuff. He's a huge, big guy, but also has injury and durability concerns. Because that's what you need. You need someone who's not super stable in the closer position. Yeah, do that. Let's get more excitement as we move to the prospects. The Marlins do have 5 guys in the top 100. 4 of them are going to be looking to either stay at or get the call up to the major league level. 2 pitchers, Robbie Snelling and Thomas White. Thomas White is going to have to get healthy, but is going to be looking to get the call up. Snelling is going to have to get secondary pitches before he gets call up. He's going to pound the whole entire strike zone with everything he's got. But again, secondary pitches is going to be necessary before he gets a call up. Joey Mack, he's a catcher, probably going to settle in as the secondary catcher. However, if Agustin Ramirez does not get better at throwing people out, Joey Mack could step in. He does throw out 33% of the people that do try to steal on him and has a sub 1.9 pop time. So, Agustin, you need to watch out. And then, of course, Owen Casey's going to be looking to stay at the major league level and get a spot in this platoon, or just say, look, left field is mine, sucker. As to the arrivals and departures, I definitely feel like they lost more than they gained. But the names they lost, probably going to play a bigger role. Eric Wagaman and Joey Weimer both gone out of the outfield and our first base. Then you lost Edward Cabrera, but you did get Owen Casey, so that's pretty good. You also did lose Ryan Weathers, a great pitcher in your rotation. Just got to stay healthy. And then Ronnie Henriquez, your best relief guy, you let go. Come on, dude. As we move on over to the rivals, you did get Owen Casey. That's good. You got Chris Morel. Literally cannot hit above the Mendoza line. When he does hit it, it goes a long way, but he doesn't hit it very often. And then you brought in Chris Paddock to bolster your rotate. Boy, get out of here. I'm so annoyed for the Marlins. Now, I said they're going to make the playoffs. It's not going to be because of their pitching. It's strictly going to be because of their hitting, which leads me to my bold predictions. First of all, you're going to have Sandy Alcantara with 10 wins and a 3.75 ERA or lower. I also think that Agustin Ramirez will go 20-20, definitely hit 20 home runs, and he's going to steal 20 bases. He might go 25-25. That'd be great. And then Kyle Stowers, my man, he's going to hit 40 home runs because he's going to stay healthy. He's going to lead this young Marlins team to the playoffs. Boom, that's another bold prediction. Well, that's going to do it for day 13. Still excited, man. We get to watch USA play tomorrow. Mexico's going down. We've lost the last 3 to them, but it's going to be different this year. I know it. Because Mexico's putting a pounding on Brazil right now. It's 14-0. So, yikes. Hopefully they get tired of running around the bases tonight so we can pop them for some runs tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the New York Mets and how they're the second best team in the city and state of New York because the Yankees are better. This is JK Cowan. Thank you for sharing part of your day with me.